Hi, today I'm going to show you how I do my abstract roses on 4-inch tiles. Nothing fancy, very abstract, no two are the same. You could use two different colors. Today I'm going to be using caramel and cranberry, also a little blending solution to go along with it. Okay, it is very random. You don't have to be precise. The more random you are, the more definition in the petals you get. So what I do is I put a little bit of alcohol ink, usually the base color, which is cranberry for me. The caramel is going to be more of an accent to give it definition. I only put a little bit of blending solution on because I don't want it too wet. And if you haven't found these little finger cots, they call them, they're really good because the gloves that I usually use end up wearing a hole in them, and then my tip of my finger looks like that. And you can't get it off underneath your fingernail, it's stained, and people look at you a little funny. But these seem to hold up and not get a hole for some reason. Found them by the Band-Aids at Walmart. Different sizes, 12 of each. I think there was 3 sizes, 12 of each for $1.97. Not that expensive. And they work really good if you don't want a whole glove on your hand. So what I do is I just keep going around the edges to make somewhat of the outer petals. If you want just a small rose, don't go out too far. If you want your whole entire tile to be a rose, just go to the edges. You don't have to do a complete circle and have it be perfect. The more random, abstract circle you have, the better, because petals on a rose aren't perfect, or at least the roses that I like, they're not perfect. You kind of push out to the side and get a ridge going. And as it's drying, the ridges will stay. And the more you work it, the more build up there will be. And this is getting sticky in the middle, so you want to go out to the edges more. And see how that's building up on the edges? If you have too much blending solution, it'll just keep blending into itself. So you want to kind of keep going around in a circle. Doesn't have to be the same circle, doesn't have to be the same pattern. If it gets sticky like that, don't go around in the circle with it then. Add a different color to the middle, maybe a little bit more, and push it out to the side. You want to cover up those little sticky edges you had. And there are colors that don't mix well together. They just make a muddy little picture. I'll show you one. This was purple and yellow. And if you see, it just made it kind of muddy looking. It didn't give it definition or a nice look like this one. Kind of hard to see with my shadow. So the colors that I found work best are like the cranberries and the raisins and different ones like that, with more of the earth tones, caramel, latte, things like that, butterscotch. So if you see starting to form little definitions of petals, I just keep going back and forth with the different colors, pushing down pretty hard as I go in randomness. And the more you push out, the more it spreads. So if you don't want it to go far, don't press hard or too much. Let it dry just a little bit in between. Add a little bit of the other color. See how if I push out, it just keeps spreading? Getting too many circles going. I want a little bit more dimension, so See how dry it got, and it made it look kind of streaky. Go in and add more. Okay. Just keep building your layers. And the more you get to the center of your rose, the less ink, less ink you want to put on it, excuse me. Because otherwise it'll just keep filling in the circle behind it. And you can go back in the center of your circle. If you keep pushing on the outside, it's going to spread. And once in a while I get a little dab, like if I lift my finger too fast, it's fine. Just gives it dimension, give it character. Sometimes it overtakes the previous circle, which to me is fine because then it builds another dimension of color. It's just not the cranberry and the latte, it's the mixture of the two together. Sometimes if I get too much, I dot it on something. Pick it up and dot it. But dot it on something that is lint free, like a paper, wax paper, something like that. Because if you go lint to your picture, lint to your picture, all of a sudden you'll see a buildup of lint. Believe me, it's very frustrating. Now as I'm getting to the center, I'm trying not to press as hard. I want a little bit less dimension as I go into the center. So what I do, instead of dotting it on there, I dot it on my finger. If I have too much, then I press it on something and I give it a little bit of a tap where I want it. Like I said, if you get too much, kind of dot it and dot it on something lint-free. Okay, and you go until it's appealing to your eye. If you put too much and it overtakes the color behind it, go in and put another color on and it'll blend. Okay, little bit of cranberry, a little bit more latte or caramel, excuse me. Okay, and sometimes I take a paintbrush now, and I'll do just, I don't know if you can see that, a little dab on there and dot it off on the paper, just to give it a little tiny dot, because my finger would be too big. Okay. That's about as much as I'll do on that one, because if I do more, then that middle just becomes muddy. So if you see the difference, this one is more uniform petals, a little bit of abstract over there, or not circles, I guess, whereas this one, I went a little bit more crazy with, I guess, more petal looking. Instead of a circle, I went kind of petalish. Like you would make a simple flower daisy. I did it like that around the couple layers, but when I got to the middle I did more of what I did on the other one. So it's very random, very abstract. No two are alike. Test out your colors because they can become pretty muddy. I wouldn't go really dark and really light, because then the light won't make any definition. Used lint free to dot on, and test it out. There's no science to it. You can just do whatever you feel like doing.